Hey guys, it's Leah here. I'm going to be opening up the screen share in just a second and going through this slideshow, but I want to let you know I had a little glitch, and so this is not coming at you live. I had a little glitch. I was trying to record a video, and so it didn't work out right. So I'm going to be doing, this is a pre-call. So instead of being on live with you guys tonight, I'm going to be checking the Facebook group. I'll be on the road. So we're going to do a pre-call, and I'm going to post it, and then I'll be checking in with you guys when we're on there. But I do have, I'm coming at you live from Disney's Contemporary Resort, and I do have a little helper over there. So if you hear any background noise, that's what it's from. So anyway, hopefully I won't have any glitches, and we can get through this pretty quickly. So let's get going. Welcome to Power Jam Week 3. We are going to be talking about recruiting tonight, and hopefully, there we go. So hopefully we don't have any issues. Tonight we're going to be talking about recruiting, and I'm so excited about this. It couldn't come at a better time. We are right at the end of the February recruiting incentive, and I want to hit this week hard with you guys. I'm going to be working on my numbers. I hope you guys are going to be working on yours. I set a personal goal for myself to have 6 to 12 new recruits by March 1st. I have 6 potentials lined up. Some want to sign in February to get those wraps, but they're waiting to have enough money, and then some are waiting until March 1st. So wish me luck. I'm going to be doing the best I can to get you guys there. I want to hear all your personal victories this week. Let's talk about victories. I know that the last 10 days have not been easy. It has been a roller coaster ride between the Disney collection by January, the new catalog launch, the UK announcement, and then the Australia-New Zealand tour that's going on right now. There's a lot of information coming at us, but I want to celebrate you guys. We've had some major victories this week. Nikki Welch had a baby this week. Congratulations, Nikki. And then within like 2 days of having a baby, she had a jam baby. So way to go, Nikki. Hats off to you. I don't know how you pull up your amazingness every month, but when I grow up, I want to be you. Another great victory I wanted to share was Doreen messaged me earlier in the week, and she was venting. I completely sympathize, empathize. I understand. The last 10 days have been a rock and roller coaster, and I totally understand that. She was venting some of her frustrations, and then she immediately turned around and she said, but you know what? I'm going to go put my happy pants on and get back to work. And I want to celebrate that kind of attitude. That kind of attitude is what gets us through the day. If you can come to me or your upline and you can vent and get it all out and then get back to work, that is the most effective form of working that I highly recommend it. I don't ever recommend that you bottle up all of those emotions, because I understand. You have bad days. We all have bad days. And especially when we've had 10 days of just nonstop information. It's exhausting. It's wearing. And then on top of that, we've had like website glitches, and then charging for new catalog shipping, and just things. So I want to congratulate you for your good attitudes. I want you to take a minute tonight, and like I said, since this isn't live, I'm going to be hopping in the group with you guys. I'm going to try to get a post up real quick. If I don't get it up, somebody else can start it. And just celebrate your victories. Talk about something. I want try to keep it in one thread. Just to post about a victory that maybe you had this week, whether it was getting out of your comfort zone and talking to someone about the opportunity, or making your first sale. I know Sharon O'Hare made her first sales last weekend. So huge. I know some girls got active this week. Huge. Some girls hit that $500 mark. Huge. All over the board. You guys were rocking this week, and I want to celebrate that. So hop in the Power Jam page and make sure you talk about it. All right, we're going to be talking about recruiting this week, and we're going to be talking about 2 components of recruiting. We're going to be talking about the internal struggle that goes on with your belief system, what you think, how you feel through the process. And then we're going to be talking about what you put out there, the external, how you talk through the recruiting process, how you effectively answer their questions, and cover your bases. We're going to be talking about a game plan to help you get organized and feel like you're prepared to go out and recruit someone. So the first thing I want to cover with you guys is your personal belief system. This is going to be about product, the marketing plan, the heritage and tradition of this company. And most of all, it is about your own belief system about yourself. Now, for many of us, it's very easy to talk about what we believe about the product. For me, Jamboree was a given. Jamboree was the only product that ever helped me stop biting my nails. And I mean, literally, a couple years ago, like right before we started Jamboree, I started Jamboree. My husband gave me a gift certificate to get to a nail salon, and I got acrylics on for the first time. I decided that I was going to finally have pretty nails. And within the first week, one of my acrylics popped off, and I was immediately back to chewing my nails while I was waiting for them to repair my acrylics, or waiting for time to repair my acrylics. In the meantime, I was chewing some of my acrylics. It was disgusting. It was horrible. And so then Jamboree came along. One of my girlfriends starts posting about Jamboree, and she's having success with the product. She's using the product. She's loving the product. She's now biting her nails. And I was like, oh, this is for me. I bought it and immediately fell in love. And honest to goodness, from there on, it was just a love story between me and Jamboree, like walking off in the sunset together. We were just in love. It's been great. But not everyone has that story. Not everybody has that that reason. For some of you, you have a love of nail art. That's what Rochelle is. Rochelle, if you know who Rochelle Cornish is, Rochelle Cornish was she called herself a nail art junkie. She loved pretty nails, and she was obsessed with it. And she was obsessed with going to the salon and having pretty nails put on. So for her, Jamboree fit that mold. For Doreen wears acrylics, and she likes to have nail art. So for Doreen, this is, again, something that she can do. It's something that fits her soul, her mantra. It's something she loves. Find what you believe about the product and then communicate that with others, because I can tell you one thing. Your personal belief about the product and how it works for you will convey more about the usability of this than anything else. If girls say, and I have a lot of girls say things like, I don't have time to do my nails, but when they see how passionate I am about this product, they want to make time. So your passion for the product and what you believe about this product can completely change your business. The next thing I want to talk about is our marketing plan. I think that as much as selling our product is effective, selling our marketing plan is huge when it comes to recruiting. I've been in several other direct sales companies, and I can tell you one thing. Maybe I can tell you a couple things. They do not pay anywhere near what we pay on our product. So most direct sales companies, unless you're in jewelry, will give you a 25% commission, no more. With Jamboree, you make a 30% commission, not to mention bonus on anything over $200. When you talk about bonus, it is so easy for a girl who's just starting out to earn bonus in her very first month. And that, I think, is huge. When you're communicating to a future or a potential recruit and you say, look, I made bonus in my first month. Now, whether that bonus was $27 or whether it was $7.10 or whether it was $500, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that you were able to go above and beyond the standard marketing plan, the standard commissions, and earn bonus in the first month. And that is huge when it comes to talking to potential recruits. Now, in addition to that, our marketing plan is it's incredible how much money you can make in this business. I don't know how anyone, let me just say this. I know people who make a 6-figure income and they are not at the top of our commissions chart in Jamboree. And I don't know any other business where you could say that. It is just, we just have so much opportunity for growth and opportunity for earning money. There's so much earning potential in this business. Now, in addition to all of that earning potential, January also turns around and offers us the significant, unique opportunity of earning our own marketing materials. I know that, like I said, I've been with a couple of direct sales companies, and other direct sales companies typically charge the consultant every single month to use the website. Sissy. Sorry, I do have help tonight. So anyway, most other companies charge their consultants consistently every single month from the month that they start for their website, for their catalogs, for their business cards, everything across the board. Jamboree gives us the unique opportunity to earn our own marketing credits. And that's one thing that I think is incredibly important to communicate when you're talking to potential recruits, is that just a minute. When you're talking to a potential recruit and you're giving her the rundown of what Jamboree offers you, it is very important to let them know that they don't ever have to pay anything for marketing materials. If they're consistently selling $600 of product every single month, they're going to automatically earn $25 of marketing credit every single month, which they can turn around and use on catalogs. They can use on, no baby, shh. Just a minute. You don't like any of that cereal. How about a granola bar? I'm so sorry. Okay. So anyway, like I was saying, that you can consistently earn money, $25 with marketing credit every month. If you sell over $1,000, you're going to earn $50 of marketing credit every single month. And you can turn that into actual catalogs, samples. You can be getting free samples every month. You can be getting free Nourish packets every single month. That is huge when we talk about potential opportunities for business growth. Because every single recruit I've ever had has asked me, well, how much do you have to invest every single month to maintain your catalogs and, paper products? And honest to goodness, that's the one thing that I love being able to tell people is if you're consistently selling every single month, you can earn your own marketing credits. That is huge. Then we talk about our personal beliefs about the heritage and tradition of the company we work for. I can honestly tell you that Jamboree and the home office staff, the founders of Jamboree, are some of the best people I've ever met. And I'm talking salt of the earth people. The general rules of the company, the foundation of the company as faith-based, business-oriented, family-oriented. I mean, they wholeheartedly support women in business, and they want to make it family-friendly and user-friendly, and they support everything that we as women look at and think we need. And so I think it's important to communicate that to our new consultants, our new recruits. Let them know that they have a company that fully supports and backs them, that wants to see them succeed, that wants to help them make money. Because not all companies are like that. A lot of companies are just in it for the numbers and how much they make. But the bottom line is Adam and Jared want to impact people. They want to change lives. And knowing that they are doing that by way of each one of us is just empowering. And when we allow new people or new recruits or potential consultants to see that, it completely changes the idea of what we are as a business. We're not just here to make money. We're here to serve others. We're here to help you fulfill your dreams and make you just as successful as you want to be. And then let's talk about our personal belief about ourselves. I think that a lot of us live with doubt. I know I do every day. I will all the time tell myself, if I can do this, if I can do that. And I've lived long enough to know that the second that I say if, I'm automatically giving myself a way out. I'm giving myself ground room to not do something. Let's say I've been invited to a dinner party and I don't want to commit. I will always say, well, if we can make it. The second you add that if in there, you take away all viability, all ownership of what's going to happen, and you give yourself the opportunity to fail, to walk away. And so what I want each of you to do is create kind of daily positive affirmations that reaffirm your personal belief about yourself. Whether if you have a planner, or maybe, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, having those positive affirmations in your life on a daily basis, maybe following someone who's, a really inspirational person on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, who does daily mantras, daily posts about, how to feed your soul and help you believe in yourself. I personally like to take my planner and I like to jot down just a little belief about myself for either a week or a day and reaffirm it every single day. So I look at it every single day. For some of you, this could be a Bible verse. For some of you, this could be just maybe a Boss Babe quote. I love Boss Babe quotes. And I love Bible verses too, but they're both just genuinely effective at helping me to see the potential that I have. So I want you to sit down. I want you to jot down a personal mantra that you're going to feed yourself every single day. Get up, look yourself in the mirror and say, today I'm going to, and don't leave yourself an if. Don't put an if in there. Don't give yourself doubt. Just believe that you can succeed, because girls, that can be the difference between where you're at now and where you're going to be. I like to tell girls that when I first started this business, I started this business with the mantra of fake it till you make it. And that sounds corny, but my vision for this business was so much bigger than just what I'm doing now. So I went out and I looked at what the big dogs of this business were doing, the people that I'd seen be successful in direct sales, and I copied them. I mimicked them. I did what they did. And without knowing it, I was mimicking successful practices and building belief in myself without even realizing it. So this week, that's what I want you to do. I want you to take those business building practices, those personal mantras and personal beliefs, and I want you to feed that back to yourself. Tell yourself you can do this. If your struggle is closing out parties with $0 in sales, I want you to look at yourself and say, this week I'm going to get at least one sale in one of those dead parties. And even if it's a party that you had to keep open for an extra week, do it. Go get a sale. Message every single person. Have your hostess message every single one of her friends. If you struggle getting out of your warm market, or maybe you're in a warm market that's kind of soft, like no one will buy, I want you to focus on getting a vendor event. Say, this week I'm gonna get out of my warm market and I'm gonna find myself some cold market contacts and I'm gonna get a lead. I'm gonna do my very first vendor event. No matter what, maybe this is a recruit. Ooh, maybe your difficulty is finding that recruit. This week I want you to talk to everybody. I want you to tell yourself, I'm gonna talk to everyone today with the opportunity to just tell them about Jamberry and make a difference in their lives. I can tell you that personally, I am, we've talked about my personality types. I'm a DC, so I tend to be very outgoing in certain settings, but I like to shut down and I like to be quiet. So at the end of the day at Disney, it's very easy for me to turn that personality off and say, I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to play on my phone, I'm going to ignore everyone and try to keep my kids quiet and just get back to the room. But the days that I fought through that and just really pushed myself to communicate with people around me, people were literally stopping me to ask me about my nails just because I was communicating with them. That can make all of the difference in the world. So once you get past that wall, that hurdle of saying, if I do this, if I'm going to do this, you can change everything just by what you put into your mind about yourself. Obviously, we've talked about our amazing company, but it helps to reinforce that by our brand values. Obviously, when we talk about recruiting and bringing someone into our organization, it's important that we know what our brand stands for. And Jamberry has put a lot of thought into what they want us to be. And they've polled a lot of consultants in order to come up with these very appropriate brand values for our company. They want us to be unique and creative. They want us to be a family, to build each other up and not tear each other down. They want us to be a blessing to others. Obviously, Adam and Jared have set a great example of this by just giving us this huge opportunity. And they want us to be generous. I don't know if you got to see the email floating around last week or the webpage floating around, but Adam and Jared initially started a ski business before Jamboree ever came along, and they have decided that it is time for them to move on from that ski business. Obviously, Jamboree is taking up a lot of their time, and they can't commit to those ski customers that they have, and so rather than asking for someone to buy their ski business, which they certainly could, they could make some money by selling their ski business. Rather than doing that, they've offered to give it away. And that's what I love about this company is just the general concept of generosity is just second nature to the people we work with and the company we work for. And so when you start to talk about what we represent, it's very easy once you ground yourself in these concepts to just reaffirm yourself and say, hey, I work for a great company and you want to work for us too. It's not difficult to think through that. Obviously, we want to talk about team building. Team building is pivotal to this business. And sorry, guys. We want to be ready and very enthusiastic when we start to build our teams. But in order to do that, we need to prepare ourselves and our teams. We want to incorporate our teams into selling situations. We want to train them how to sell. We want to show them how to do a party. A lot of you got the opportunity to see my mock party that I started this week. If you haven't, please let me know. I'd love to add you. And this is something I want to be doing on a regular basis with my team is throw girls into the opportunity into mock training so that they can see and get an idea of what different successful consultants are doing. And it may or may not work with your business. It may or may not work with your personality style. But we can prepare our teams by showing them examples of what we know does work and let them get ideas for their own personalities and their own types. I tell girls all the time that you always need to be, no matter what situation you're going to, if it's a Facebook party, if it's at a home party, if you're just talking to people online, always think about planting the seed. That's going to help you create that team long term. So what I mean by that is that if you're willing to wait, people will come to you. Initially, it's difficult to maybe plant those seeds and wait for them to take root and grow. But if you're always planting them in every party situation, eventually someone's going to take you up on the offer. And it doesn't matter what you're saying. I mean, really and truly, I think a lot of girls, when they hear me say something like plant the seed, always be talking about, what Jamboree has done for your life personally or things like that. They think, oh, well, Leah has it so easy because she makes so much money and she can totally talk about all the things that Jamboree has done for her family. But I don't make that much money, so that's obviously not something that I can do. But that's not what I mean. When I talk about planting the seed, I'll tell you, and I like to use this example a lot. One of the very first months that I got bonus, I think it was maybe $40, but it was enough. And I think I definitely got bonus my first month, and I made like $40. And we had gone to Disney World for the weekend. And I was able to take my family to dinner and pay for it. And I, that night, literally sat at the dinner table and cried because I was able to pull out my own Jamboree credit card and hand it to the waiter and pay for my dinner and pay for my family's dinner and then walk away and be like, oh my gosh, I did something huge for my family. Well, that night, I also took a picture of that little receipt, and it was like $47 and some change, just enough money, like what was on my January card. And I took a picture of that receipt and I posted it in my customer group. And I was like, I said something simple like, who knew that awesome customers and a little nail business could help me pay for my family's dinner? It was the first time in 3 years that I had ever been able to pay for dinner with money that I had actually earned. And I think I got 6 messages about that over the next few days and even weeks. People who were just either congratulating me on my success or wanting to know more about the opportunity. And that's what I mean when I talk about planting the seed. It doesn't have to be huge. Honestly, the things that make the most impact in our life are not huge because the huge things don't seem feasible to us. I can't tell you how many times I've thought, oh, well, I know Jamie Wallace paid off over $100,000 worth of school debt for her husband. I can totally do that. That doesn't seem feasible for me. But hearing some girl say, hey, I made enough money to pay for my kids' soccer camp in 2 weeks, that seems feasible. That seems reasonable. That seems like something I can do. And that's something I definitely am willing to work on in my part-time. So that's just what I mean. You don't want to, it doesn't have to be big. Any little seed can reap a reward if you're planting consistently. And then obviously we talk about sharing and equipping. I think team pages are huge for this. I think that sneak peeks are huge for this. If you're adding girls to your team page for a sneak peek, you're equipping her with more information to help her make your decision. And as time goes on, you'll see more information come in different forms. Jamboree University is about to launch with a whole new lineup of training and information for our girls so that it's not all on Facebook and it's not all on you to train them. Home office knows that we are super busy working our businesses and being moms and wives and doing real jobs and, real other jobs. And they want to help us. And so they're listening to us and they're working to help ease our load a little bit. But that takes time. As time goes on, you'll probably see more trainings like this that are presented via YouTube videos and presented through either Facebook trainings or emails, because that's what, as we move away from sole Facebook markets, which is what our intention is long term, we want to diversify by moving into markets of people who don't necessarily play on Facebook consistently. And as we do that, the only way to effectively do that is to provide them with opportunities outside of the Facebook realm. So you'll see more opportunities like this come, but in the meantime, we'll be working through all of the information we have on our team pages and idea sharing and equipping each other that way, because that's what we know that works right now. Here's the biggie. When we talk about moving outside of ourselves, and we kind of have built that kind of internal belief system to prepare us to go out and present the opportunity to others, I think it's really important to have maybe a guideline, an outline set up mentally, a little checklist to help you work through how you talk to people. And that's just what this is. When we talk about setting up recruitment interviews, I don't necessarily mean they have to be a formal interview. I mean, this can happen via text message. This can happen via Facebook chat. This can happen over email. If you have a friend in California and you are in Georgia, like me, you can totally still carry on this interview via text message or phone call or any kind of communication device that you use. You can do this. So usually, if you were going, I'll present this opportunity as though you are meeting someone for dinner, and it's a girls' night. You're meeting her for dinner, and you just want to help her answer some of her questions. So you sit down and you say, well, okay, here are the things we're going to talk about tonight. I want you to talk about why you're thinking about the opportunity. Tell me about you. I want to hear why you're thinking about the opportunity. Then you share a quick little quip about your Jamboree journey. Then you ask her, okay, so why Jamboree? Why not other companies? Then you ask her if she has any questions, and then you give her the opportunity to make a decision or tell you when you can follow up with her about her decision. So this is easy. And I'll do a general rundown of how I would use this conversation. I can honestly tell you, I did this in line via text message this week, standing in line for one of the rides in Magic Kingdom. And I totally have a recruit sign or ready to sign up March 1st because of these simple questions. So the first one is the agenda. Okay. I'm just going to ask you some quick questions. It's basically just an idea, helping me get an idea of if this is a good fit for you. And obviously, I want to do what's best for you and best for me, and best for our friendship. Obviously, it can get awkward sometimes because I want someone to join my team, and I don't want to pressure you because I'm your friend. So we're just going to run through the general questions that I would ask anyone. You be honest with me, and you tell me your answers. That's all. No pressure. So the first question I want to ask you is, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're at, what you're thinking about, maybe why this is resonating with you right now. And she'll, my girlfriend said something like, well, my husband just took a new job and money's tight and I could certainly use like an extra $100 a month. And I know you do it all on Facebook. And I just kind of want to know if I can. She's like, I'd rather do it and know if I can or can't than always wonder. Okay, that's easy. So, and here's how I responded to her. I went back to that little share your Jamboree journey. And I said, well, you're exactly right. I do 95% of my business online. And Jamboree has been good to me. I make more now than I ever made working a desk job, but I also have pretty nails all the time. And if I only made enough to pay for my nails every month, that would be enough for me. That's really all I wanted when I started this business. Now, for you, I want you to be as successful as you can. And, I want to hear why you're thinking Jamboree as opposed to any other companies. And then, and you see how I did that. I did that really quickly. I didn't do any pressure selling. I didn't push her. I did this just like I was talking to her as my friend. No pressure. So I asked her, why Jamboree? And she's like, well, Jamboree is the only product that I really can support because it's affordable and it's consumable. And she knew exactly why she wanted to sell Jamboree, because it's affordable for moms. She's a stay-at-home mom. Her husband just changed to a new job, and she can still afford $15 a month for her manicures, right? So she's like, if I can afford it, I can find 10 friends who can afford it every month with me, and then I can make enough money to get my jams for free, right? Makes sense. So she's answered that question, and I just say, well, tell me what questions you have. So inevitably, she sends me all of her questions, and they were logical questions. When's the best time to start? Okay, so I talked to her about fast starts. How much does it cost? Okay, I talked to her about the kit cost along with shipping and handling. And then I tell her, but, we have this special offer if you start in February where you could potentially earn your kit credit back. However, since we're, sitting halfway through the month, it all depends on where you want to be. If you want to start on March 1st and have more time for your fast start, that's fine with me. If you want to start now so you have the potential to earn your kit credit back, and she immediately stops me and says, no, I want the maximum amount of time. I'll just wait. So we find she answered her question. She's satisfied. Now, in the meantime, I know she's waiting until March 1st to make that decision. So I say to her, okay, so when should I follow up with you? Because I don't want you, I know you've made your decision about your signing on March 1st. I don't want you to forget. So I'm going to remind you on March 1st. Okay? That's when we're going to make our decision. Okay? So if she was potentially making a decision that day, if she wanted to go ahead and sign that day, I would say, so are you set on Jamboree? And then depending on what she'd said, I'd say, okay, so here's how we sign up, and send her the link. Now, since that's not the way she decided to go, I said to her, okay, so when the time comes on March 1st, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send you my link. I'm going to add you to my team page. I'm going to give you some training information. Would you like any of that ahead of time? And I just try to answer all of her questions to get her ready to make that decision on March 1st. And that's it. So in the meantime, I'll follow up with her and say, hey, girl, I'm thinking about you. Super excited about your start date on March 1st. Did you think of any more questions? Is there anything you need before we get started? And perhaps she wants a peek at the new catalog. I have no problem sending her new catalogs as soon as I get them. Maybe she wants to try some of our products out. I happen to know this is one of my really good customers who loves Nourish, and she loves samples. So as soon as the new catalog comes out, I'm taking her some new products so that she can try them out and test them out with me. And so that's how you work through the general concepts. Now you can conduct this, like I said, over the internet, over Facebook, by email, by text message, by phone, however you want to do it. Whatever the best form, and I tell girls, whatever the best form of communication is with a person you've talked to. If your only form of communication has been Facebook, I'm not going to tell you to pick up the phone and call this girl. She's not going to be comfortable with that. So if your only form of communication with this girl has been through Facebook parties, talk to her on Facebook until you get to know her well enough to call her. And the only person I've ever done this with is Kristen Schaefer, and Kristen Schaefer just felt like she knew me well enough to call me, and she did. So work through the process until you find your comfort zone with the person you're talking to. So hopefully I've answered all of your questions about the recruiting process internally and how you're going to pose the questions and put your interview together, how you will talk to people as you work through the recruiting process. So now we're going to move on to homework, because why not? We're already there. Obviously, we're going to go through the mandatory portions. I want you to listen to your daily vitamin every single day. Create your Jamboree testimonial. Again, this doesn't have to be huge, just enough. You don't have to write it down or anything. Just practice it. Sit down and act like someone's asked you, well, why did you choose Jamboree? And then it can be 2 to 3 sentences, simple and easy, just like mine. And I am going to add a little bit to that. Create your Jamboree testimonial, and I want you to practice it on 3 people. So you can be as simple as writing your girlfriend and say, hey, I have this mandatory homework thing where I have to talk about my Jamboree testimonial. Can I share it with you real quick and see what you think? And then just do it. I've actually had girls who got recruits just by sharing their testimonial. So just put it out there and see what happens. So I want you to create your Jamboree testimonial and share it with 3 people. Create your interview script. And again, it doesn't have to be a script. You don't have to go out and write it down. But basically, a checklist of questions that you use as a guide. And you can use this page right here for how to set it up and how to work through your recruiting discussions. Then, this is totally off topic, but since we're talking about recruiting, and I want you to think back to the people who've poured into you. Knowing what you know now, I'm sure you realize that there's a lot that goes into both recruiting and supporting and creating just a successful team. I want you to connect with your upline and share something about their leadership and support that you appreciate. And now I would prefer that it be someone who's actively working. If your upline has dropped off the planet, go to someone that you connect with on a regular basis and share something about their leadership and support that you appreciate. And the reason for this is your team managers do so much for you and they put so much into you. So this is a huge opportunity for you just to reconnect with them. And if you don't have a great relationship with them, maybe this can help build that bridge. So find something about your upline that you can appreciate and support, and let them know. Then I want you to create a recruiting support document system and post it on Facebook. Actually, I'm not going to make you post this on Facebook. So what I mean here is I want you to create a system for how you spot potential recruits. So for me, I generally know who's thinking about signing up to join Jamboree based upon the questions they ask, or or whether they even ask any questions in a party. And then I will, comment and maybe message them to let them know. And then I work through the questions that I will ask them once I get the opportunity to have a conversation with them. So I want you to create that little system. It doesn't have to be written out necessarily, but kind of an idea of how you approach recruits and what you say when you recruit them. And again, what I highly recommend here is if you will create maybe a 2-minute video talking about your system that you've thought out that you think will work for you. Create maybe a 1 to 2 minute video and post that to the team page this week, to the Team Power Jam page. Obviously, when we talk about the B section of our homework, you can pick any of these 4. You can pick a combination of these to create 4, but the idea is to complete 4 of these. Now, I highly recommend at least 2 power hours per week and 20 commercial calls. And you can make these either phone calls or emails, but just touching at least 20 people this week. Then you could add in a combination of any of the others. You could hold or close a party in the next 7 days. You could book 2 new parties for next month. We're getting down to the wire on that, so it's probably a great time to start working on that. I actually expect most of you to already have 4 of these done before I even start, before we even start the week, because these are kind of givens. Sponsor 1 new recruit in the next 7 days. And guys, oh my gosh, what if every single one of you, I don't know if I said this or not at the beginning, but there's about 50 of you guys left, and I think we had 150 join initially. So that's huge. 50 of you guys are still left at week 3. That's amazing. Amazing. So what if each of you signed 1 new recruit this week? We would have 50 new recruits in this downline in 1 week. We could totally take over that number on the dashboard. That would be huge. So follow up with all of your leads and push. Every single one of you push for 1 new recruit in the next 7 days. I will also be doing this. Like I said before, I've got like 6 potential recruits who half of them want to sign in February for the free stuff and half of them want to wait till March 1st for their fast start. So I'm going to be following up with all of them and just laying out all of their options and telling them now is the time. And so I want you guys to do the same. Let's push for everyone getting 1 new recruit this week. So, and then like I said, 20 commercial calls if you want to make time for that. And that's my cue. My phone is now ringing, so I will let you guys go. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask on the Power Jam team page. All right, thanks, guys. Let me close up here. Bye, girls. Thanks for tuning in.